Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hi everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and today I want to talk about mornings, which for many of you is a pretty challenging part of the day. It definitely was for me when I woke up. So I want to unpack this idea of a challenged morning and tease out some ways in which you can become more empowered as you start your day. I think that there are three really important things that need to be addressed in this conversation. One is that while we're sleeping, our brain is encoding memories. So whatever happened to us the day before, we are now storing those memories, but not just in an isolated way. We're storing them inside of a narrative about who we are and what our life is like. So it's not like opening up a drawer and pulling out a memory. When you pull on that memory, you also pull on your self-concept. You pull on your narrative. So you pull lots of stuff. Memories are really sticky, and they don't live in isolation. They're always related to you, the protagonist, inside of an ongoing narrative. So now we're waking up into a new day, a new perspective that has more information about how our life isn't going well. So that's our first experience of consciousness, is this post-encoding phase. So number two, one of the things that wakes us up is the hormone cortisol, which many people call a stress hormone. It has a lot of different functions in the body, but getting us to be vigilant, getting us to be alert, getting us to be on point, on guard, is one of the things that it does really well. And this is why we pop into consciousness, because our cortisol spikes in the morning. So we are alert and vigilant now inside of this post-encoding phase where there's lots of information that our brain wants us to be aware of. Number three, we're not moving, or at least most people aren't moving. When we wake up, we tend to lie in bed for a while. We don't just pop right out. And when we are not moving, when we don't have any purposeful activity or engagement, our brain's default mode network takes over, which is the part of the brain that loves to ruminate. It's the part of the brain that loves to error check. It loves to look around to see what mistakes were made, or to see how your identity might be challenged, or to see where you fit in the social hierarchy. So we're waking up post-encoding, which means we now have this new perspective. Two, we are stressed by cortisol. And three, we're not moving our bodies, so we're in a ruminative state. And when you combine all of those three things together, you get a little animal with teeth that gnaws away at you. So when I woke up this morning, I was just stewing. I was in this state of mourning, in a state of grieving, in a state of worrying about an uncertain future, in a state of feeling like I have no value. It was really fun. And the point in me making this video is that you can step back and observe this process happening. This is not easy, and it's not innate in most people. We jump into the narrative. We think that that story is really about us, and it's about our life, and it's true. But it's not. It's a simulation that our brain is running to get us prepared for a day that it believes is going to be quite stressful and full of challenges. So it's getting us ready to take that on, and for us to know our place or our rank in the day that presents. But it doesn't have to be like that. So when I woke up this morning in that state of mourning and grieving and loss and uncertainty, after about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm like, oh, my brain is doing that. So I just backed up. I looked at it. I said, yeah, I hear that. But what does that have to do with this moment? What does that have to do with this room? What does that have to do with the way the covers feel on me right now? What does that have to do with the way the sun is coming through the window and lighting up the lilac bushes outside? What does that have to do with anything in this moment? Well, other than the fact that it's what my brain is up to in this moment, nothing. And I know that when you get physically engaged, when you move, you start to turn off that default mode network, and you start to wake up or activate other parts of the brain. So that's what I did. I just moved. I pulled back the covers. That's movement. I rolled my body to the left. That's movement. I rolled myself out of bed because I sleep on the floor, and it's hard to stand up, especially when you have creaky old legs like I do. So I eventually got myself up and moving and walking and looking and interacting with my environment. And that helps to turn off that default mode network. So you're less likely to ruminate, unless you're consciously attached to that story and you've chosen to dive in and believe that that is your world, that is your life, and that is who you are. And a big part of this process that I engage in is, number one, moving, but number two, acknowledging that that's just what certain regions of my brain are up to, especially in the morning. We've got the encoding, we've got the cortisol, we've got the default mode network from lack of movement. So number one, get moving. Let's turn off a little bit of that default mode. Let's give ourselves a little bit of purposeful activity, even if it's getting dressed, even if it's finding food, even if it's brushing our teeth, something to engage in, something that has steps that we can quickly and easily move through a process. And then thirdly, backing up and saying, my life is actually here. So we have to practice stepping back from that narrative and realizing that it's just simulations that the brain is running, especially in the morning. But if we can back up and tune into the world around us, tune into our physical sensations, and tune into the possibility that we have no idea what's going to happen today. So rather than uncertainty, we approach the world with curiosity. If we can do that, rather than spiraling down into that narrative, into that belief or identification with the story that's always running, if we can back up and say, I don't know, and then engage ourselves in small, purposeful activities, regardless of how small they are, regardless of how insignificant they may seem. Their value is enormous if they get you engaged and get you in motion, because eventually they will build momentum and you will have the possibility of a brighter day. So that's what I do on a daily basis. And today was one of those days where before I became conscious, I was like, wow, this sucks. My life sucks. But then it's like, oh, no, it doesn't. That's just a simulation that my brain is running. Okay? I hope there's some value in there for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have comments, if you have challenged mornings, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you want to help me create more content like this, come on over to Patreon. It's just $1 or $2 a month. And you help me stay in this conversation and explore the world. Okay, I will see y'all soon. Bye.